All right, attempting to go live. So hopefully this pans out. It's been missed on a live stream, so I figured I would try to connect this evening and find out what else is going on out there. I haven't had a chance to dive deep into all the mainstream stories, but I want to find out what's going on, what have I been missing. So hopefully my internet signal is good. Let me see. Let me know in the chat for those that are watching. If you guys can hear me, if everything is flowing smoothly. So that being the case, late night live stream. It's been a while since I've done a late night chat. So I figured I would do something real quick. Not in my typical format, but give it a try and see how it turns out. So with that being the case, stream is choppy. That's not good. So yeah, hopefully if it works out, we can make something. We can try to have a little live stream. If not, then I'll try it a different way, a different time. But with that being the case, I'm gonna do the best I can. So we got Rolf. It says, prepare to shelter in place. COVID-19 earnings are going out. CDC media telebriefing has been issued. Nice time for a live. We got SCTPC in Australia. How you doing, my friend? We got Kamitha from Connecticut. We got Nathaniel. Stream is choppy, a little echo. Yeah, so I don't have a mic. I'm in a room where it's very echoey. It's over. Choppy, you sound like Bitcoin. Yeah, so but one thing I did want to comment on, and so I'm not in my normal setup, but I wanted to at least try to connect the best I can. Guyana in the house. Joel, how you doing, my friend? Pete in Detroit, how you guys doing? And so I wanted to just get some, share some thoughts about the 24 to 48-hour negative trend in the equities market and how with this current health situation underway, it's nothing positive coming out of the mainstream news or anything that can really be done outside of central bank intervention to try to prop this thing up more, which means even more trouble lies ahead. And so it says, are you in your bunker, Mike? No, I'm not in a bunker. I'm actually out of town, a little bit of a little getaway. Need to clear my mind and just relax a little bit. So not in Michigan, because right now we have a snowstorm. So far from Michigan. Print, baby, print, that drill, that is exactly. And so I'm reading all types of articles about the Federal Reserve looking at cut rates, and you got a lot of the central bankers not on the same page right now because they're giving two different stories. One Federal Reserve person said they need to cut, other one said they need to stay. So it looks like I'm trying to see, am I able to stream or no? So it looks like you need to get yourself, let me see here. So as of now, it looks like the stream is frozen. So I'll give it a second and see if I can try to get a little bit of a better stream. And if not, I won't be able to stream this evening. They can print anymore, keep video frozen. So bad reception. Sound fine, video frozen. So I assume I won't be able to stream. So I'm gonna just end this one. Froze over your beautiful face, Mike. Right. All right. So assuming that this will not work, we can hear you. Forget the video. Okay. So sounds like you guys can hear me. So yeah. So I'm currently in Puerto Rico. So I'm not in Michigan, and so I personally had a trip planned to come down to Puerto Rico. So I wasn't going to let any type of health situation keep me from getting out and getting some good sunshine in my life. So, but with that being the case, I wanted to just share my thoughts on the equities markets. And this week is going to be a pivotal week because I didn't anticipate there being 2 days of a downward spiral of the major indices. So let me actually, on my side here, see if I can pull up and see if it was it predominantly in the Dow or was it a variety of other. So just looking at the major indices now on my side here. And so, yeah, so apart from the S&P 500 VIX, if I can put it up on screen, I would show you, but I can't. So all in all, another day, 879 points down. So we are now, it's about 27,000 in the Dow. And it's unfortunate that our economy and the health of our economy is all predicated on some numbers, in particular, the Dow 30. And so once again, all those companies listed on the Dow 30, more and more companies have been coming out talking about how this upcoming quarter will not be profitable. So they're basically forecasting that they anticipate there being a lack of revenue being brought in. Therefore, what does that always lead to? An adjustment in their operations, which lead to more job losses. So all the events going on currently right now spells trouble. And nothing the central banks can really do can prop this thing up anymore. Like they can drop rates, they can print, they can directly interject into the markets however they choose to. But yet everybody kind of knows now that it's all artificial. It's nothing real, and it's definitely not sustainable. And so if it's not sustainable, my question to you is, what are you doing differently? And so if you know that these markets are fake, I hope that if you've been in the alternative media space for any length of time, you know that all this is one big hoax to keep you in it so that they could profit off of your lack of financial savviness if you choose to put all your funds in these markets and depend upon the Dow and all this corporate debt and all these debt markets being around for years to come. It will not happen. And so people say I'm in a bunker, and I'm in a bunker. I'm just in a apartment building where Wi-Fi is not that good. I thought I would just attempt to try to stream tonight, but it doesn't look like it's going to work on the video side, but audio works, so I won't be on long. But I just want to check in and see what your guys' thoughts are, because I have not been paying much attention to the health scare as to whether or not there's any new cases in the on the mainland. So I'm currently in Puerto Rico, so I would not have known anything about that health scare apart from seeing one person in the airport with a mask on her face. And so so I wonder if are there any more cases stateside, because I have not been in tune with that. And so let me check in. It says stock market lost $2 trillion in derivatives in 2 days. That is not good, because a lot of people are dependent upon these markets these days. I feel for those that are solely dependent upon being able to receive something in the long term. And that's why from the video I did last weekend about how millennials especially need to really rethink and reconsider what they consider retirement. Because as of right now, we're all going to witness the whole retirement scheme as it comes apart, because it's all dependent upon fresh, younger money getting into those markets. And we all know that's not the case. It's all central bank induced. Therefore, it's going to be a lot of pain. And so one thing I'm trying to figure out is will tomorrow be the third day of the Dow dropping and the equities dropping, period? And then at what point and how long can the Federal Reserve hold off from actually announcing some type of interjection into the market outside, of course, Chris mentioned 75 billion of repo this morning. Yeah, so I would imagine that's 75 billion that is common. So that's nothing new. They've been doing that now around that ballpark for several months now. So at what point will they need to interject like 200, 300, 400, or just outright call it quantitative easing or something of that nature? So I think this week is going to be interesting. Yeah, so video is frozen for whatever reason. The internet is not functioning properly. So I know it's going to be a long shot, but I thought I would try it. And so, but as far as any new cases stateside that we should be aware of, because I personally, as I just referenced, haven't been really following it too closely. And so I'm curious to find out via chat. Somebody let me know if there's any new cases that have been reported outside of the small number that we have, if you actually even believe those numbers. Because all the information coming out of the Asian area where there's, 87,000 people infected and only, 2,700 or 3,000 deaths. That number been the same. That's been the same number for about 2 weeks now, or give or take that same ballpark. And if this health scare is spreading the way that it's being reported that it's spreading, and those numbers are not growing exponentially, something's wrong. So somebody's lying. And so Chris says, let's hope the Dow is negative 2,500 tomorrow. Pretty please. Yeah, so this is another one of the things, like, so the video I did today, or the video I posted today with Raghi, talking about the importance of, this, how much opportunity is out there right now. So if you're familiar with how to short and how to, put options out there and all that technical stuff, then you're definitely in a good position as these things coming down, because as of right now, unless there's some intervention, this thing is going to go down to what it will be considered just, I guess, fair value, given the fact that the last 10 years it's been artificially, I keep saying the word propped up, but I mean artificially increased due to monetary policy. So what is fair value? We're going to find out. Wherever the Dow Jones, which happens to be the leading indicator of the health of our economy, it seems, wherever that ends, might be considered fair value. Now, if that fair value happens to be $7,000-8,000 Dow or somewhere lower than that, it's going to be unfortunate. But I think we are at a point where we need a fresh start. We need something, because here's one of the things I threw out there. I put out on Twitter the other day about how, for me being somewhat of a younger person and witnessing the Dow continue to go up, like, just common sense tells me that it cannot go up forever. And a correction is needed or will be needed between now and the time I personally, if I invested in those type of financial products, that the time that I will be looking to get out, it would have to be 70, 80, 90,000 Dow in order for me to get out and be able to actually enjoy some of the proceeds that will come from those equities there. So I'm thinking, like, at some point it has to come down. Like, I would personally, it's just my personal opinion, I'm not invested in equities at all, just because I don't really have confidence in the system. And so I personally, myself, I'm waiting for it to correct to what will be considered fair value, which is well below that 27,000, whatever it is now. And then when it gets back to fair value, along with everything else out here, then I think that would be a great time for millennials to look to get some time, I believe. That's just my personal opinion. It says, Tony Bass says, what the hell, Mike? You got to get out of the basement or the reception doesn't work well in the bathroom. No. So what is fair value? Fair value is what, if you remove all the artificial monetary policy type measures that have been injected into these markets for the last several decades, that will be fair value. And so you remove all that funny money and easy credit that has been used to buy back shares that have pumped things up. Fair value is minus monetary interference, which would then depend solely upon capital from individual investors, like it used to be well before our time frame, more than likely. Then that'll be fair value. And so a part of the Twitter I did the other day, it mentioned that in 1980, February 25th, 1980, I believe, the Dow was 836 points. And so could that be somewhat fair value? Well, I'm assuming at that time that was relatively high. But who would ever imagine that within 40 years, it would have been 29,000, touching 30,000, but factored in, it was primarily led and driven by central bank intervention and excessive government debt along with that. So fair value to me is whenever you remove central bank policy, or whenever all this fails and it goes back to what an actual share of a company, such as your Apples or whatnot, what their share prices really should be in comparison to who actually are going to buy those things. Because I mean, me personally, I don't know about you, Tone, but I don't see myself or have not bought any shares of Apple just because I am not too confident in their ability to continue to innovate and to lead the industry the way that they did prior to Steve Jobs passing away. So as of now, they're just trying to keep pace because they're no longer even a top cell phone maker anymore. So, is that a company that you want to bet on for 20, 30 years? Me personally, no. So that's just me, but fair value will happen. So frozen, I'm frozen because let me try something on my end because my internet is obviously a little sluggish. So I'm going to try to do something with my camera, see if that works. So there we go. So looks like I might not be frozen. So I just wanted to log on real quick, do a live stream. And so I'm not underground. I'm just at an apartment. I'm actually in Puerto Rico as we speak. So taking a couple days to get away and just get some sunshine because right now it's a winter storm coming to Michigan. So I wanted to get out. So that's why the echo and everything like that, because I'm on the computer. Wi-Fi is not the greatest. So, but I wanted to check in and find out your guys' thoughts on, where is all this heading? Is there any positives out there? Because I personally am not dependent upon, or my financial future directly is not impacted by the Dow going up or down. Because as I mentioned, I'm looking forward to the correction so that your average person can actually get involved and hopefully have a chance to ride the wave back up after it corrects. So that's just my 2 cents. Mike, value investing today. So my thing is, and so this goes back to the very premise of this channel, rethinking the dollar. And so for me, unless you are doing something with a direct intention of taking advantage of opportunities, such as the day trading, like Raji was mentioning, or speculating in any type of sector, mining stocks or cryptos or whatever, anything you're doing outside of just actually holding physical weight in your possession is gambling. You're speculating. You're hoping that you can take advantage of an opportunity over here while this goes down. Me personally, fiat currencies are about to be weaponized as we speak. So because of this whole health scare situation, every central bank will have to. There is no way they cannot further get involved by expanding their balance sheets, buying up everything and supporting governments and supporting the quote unquote free market or whatever it is. So everything is about to be taken over by central banks. So at that point, currencies, literally like the Federal Reserve note, it's already been a tool that's been used to drain the sweat and hard work of every human being on this planet. But now they're about to ramp this thing up to where I have no confidence in anything outside of tangible weight, to where I personally just don't feel comfortable speculating on things that are suspect. So here's the thing, in my personal opinion, nominally equities will go up. Dow's going to shoot back up to 60, 70,000 just because they're about to directly buy stuff. They're going to try to prop the bond market up by capping the yield curve and holding it and manipulating it, whatever. I read some articles about that, and we'll dive into that further. But at the end of the day, right now, the kryptonite to the monetary system is metals. So why would I not just take some time out, get out of these artificial markets, let things blow over, and then when everything smooths itself out after some type of collapse or reset or whatever it's going to be called, then at that point, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. And that's just the safest way to do it, in my opinion, without having to go worry about anything. Just sit out on the sidelines, let everything blow over, and then look to get back in if there's any type of way that you can take advantage of things. So Tony Blade, like everything resets itself against gold. And that is very true. But Tony, one of my biggest things is I've become more of a fan of silver. I've always been a silver fan. But okay, I'll share with you a couple of things I've been thinking about. The gold to silver ratio is whatever it is right now. Let me see if I can pull that up. The gold to silver ratio is, where are we at? Let me see. The gold is 90. It's 90 to 1. So 90 ounces of silver for 1 gram of gold, or 1 ounce of gold. So that is completely off balance. Excuse me. That has to correct in some way as well. So that correcting, once all the contracts and all that stuff is done with or no longer able to run its course, the gold to silver ratio has to correct to something a little bit more favorable, according to what it comes out the ground at. 1 to 9, 1 to 10, 1 to 15, whatever. Okay. But the the getting the most bang for your buck in gold terms, when that corrects will be ideal. And then you have the gold to Dow ratio. Right now, it's not, it's extremely high, but yet once the Dow corrects, it's going to be a lot more favorable. So going from silver to gold and then gold into the Dow, that's those steps there would be just the core basics of just doing something that doesn't really require much know-how, much skill set, apart from, the technical things of how to get in, get out, whatever. But just that method itself, it's on the surface, it sounds like it will be something that has more potential of being a long-term winner than me sitting around right now looking at picking certain stocks and all that stuff like that. I would rather just wait till the gold and silver ratio corrects as well, get into some gold, take a little bit of gold, of course, pay your taxes, all that stuff like that, and then get into the Dow when it goes back, as well as everything else is going to be extremely cheap. So to me, that's just, for me personally, the safest way to just ride this thing out, not worry about it, don't stress out about it, and limit yourself to the risk of losing everything that you think is yours, because there's going to be so many broken promises and shattered dreams. Because once again, I've been watching a lot of stuff about retirees and how this decade we're having the greatest portion of our demographics in America looking to retire, and all those funds are dependent upon equities and bonds, and that's all a nightmare right now. So I have no confidence in the system. I'm going to sit out on the sideline and just be an observer and enjoy life to the best I can and not worry about all this stuff happening around me, and just try to be just do me, basically what I'm saying. So Babar says, Mike, can you ask about foreigners owning land or getting citizenship when you interview overseas? Babar, I can do that. I definitely can. And so that's definitely something I am interested in as well. It says, Mike, I missed something there. Mike, you can buy Motown records with a few ounces of gold. Low blood pressure, the Motown building on the Boulevard in Detroit. I'm not really sure. It's, I love my city, but from what I see as far as the city of Detroit, I'm not sure exactly what can help the rebuilding process for the city of Detroit. And so a nice portion of the city of Detroit is not really recoverable in its current economy we're in, because housing situation is poor. There are no jobs that would allow people to rebuild, and then on top of that, the infrastructure is no longer there. Like the manufacturing base is gone, so there's a lot of vacant warehouses and buildings that, once again, there's no opportunity there unless you are someone that's sitting on a lot of capital. You can come in and purchase stuff extremely cheap, which you can't now, more than likely. But then again, who are you going to put in those places? Right now, you're not going to find the people that can afford to rebuild the city of Detroit inside Detroit. So the funds will have to come from somewhere else. So I'm not too confident on the city of Detroit moving forward in the next couple of years, especially because this current decade, to me, is not going to be the time where you would want to go out and look to rebuild something as all this stuff is still blowing over. Like it's just too much uncertainty to invest in anything with the hopes of it. You start like a grassroots movement and rebuilding a city and stuff like that. Because the city of Detroit filed for bankruptcy, was it 7 years ago? Things haven't gotten any better. So they're going to have issues again. So therefore, all they can do is raise taxes. And then when you raise taxes, people leave. Just like in Illinois, Chicago, and everywhere else. But I feel like I'm ranting too much. So think about it, then look it up. It says China shut down the U.S. and virus is being tested in countries with 5G. Yes, Tony, great point. And I think it was 2 weeks ago when I had Paul on the show talking about how 5G, the push for 5G is not coincidental. The virus situation, in my opinion, the 5G is a remote control. I believe that you can actually maneuver and alter human genome, which plays right in line with the virus process. So I am more than confident that, you got the 5G and the virus situation. It goes hand in hand. It makes one hell of a weapon that can be used and controlled by whoever has a joystick. And once again, we don't have the joystick as far as the 5G stuff. So it is very unfortunate, but it is real life and it's what's happening. No jobs, no industry, no vibrant city. Babar, very true. Very, very true. What else we got in the chat here? We advise moving. It's a dry haven. Are you serious? Tell me what else we got. Owners of the Fed have more gold than you could ever imagine. Bar light broker. That is very true. And one thing that I am confident in, that the Rothschild family, they have all the golds from the central banks because they're the owners of the central bank. So all the gold that the central banks have been acquiring, those vaults, I believe, are probably owned by the Rothschild family and all the other families that are in on this together. So the Rothschild family has the most gold on the planet, hands down. I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt that at all. But I just wanted to check in real quick. I apologize for the technical issues. Internet, once again, Wi-Fi in this hotel, this apartment is not the greatest. And so tomorrow I'm going to try to get on with Mr. Half Dollar. It said Mr. Half Dollar says was an awesome 5G. 5G is being pushed. Yeah. So it doesn't take too much far right field thought processing to really put all this together and just think of the most outrageous things. And it can make sense in this current environment. So that being the case, I see you guys are ready to make some moves. So I'm about to dial back. I just wanted to check in and see how the Wi-Fi would work. And I was able to do something. So I apologize for the hiccups. I'm going to try to do something tomorrow afternoon, hopefully have a better reception. But other than that, as always, if you come across any articles or news stories worthy of mentioning, leave them in the comments section. And then I'll try to address them tomorrow. And for those that want to hang out tomorrow, Silver Doctors, I should be able to do that as long as the Wi-Fi works. Then we go from there. But I have to go out and get something to eat, and we will go from there. But other than that, be blessed and safe and stay prayed up. And definitely, just pray for the best and prepare the best you can according to what you know. Other than that, signing off. Peace.